Okay, we are in Parak Syria of the Tomer Devorah, and we're talking about, let me just refresh your memory, we're talking about that the ultimate in reaching Kedusha, it's a hard parak. It's a hard parak because we're talking about Kedusha. Kedusha is, it's hard to put your finger on. Up to a chesed, to a this, I mean, Kedusha, that's like your whole essence. That's what we are. Trying to reach Kedusha. Eitzer Rabba Gedolah min HaTorah, and the way to reach Kedusha, he explained to us last week, is to be makasher yourself with the spheros. Makasher yourself with the spheros. The best way to do that, he explains, which is, at least to me, a new idea, that the day, the 24-hour cycle, is divided up into spheros. Night, we learned last time, is Malchus. Sleeping time is Malchus. Malchus, we can understand Malchus means that you're almost dead when you're sleeping. So you're not in it for yourself. I think I explained last time my mashal, which I think is a good one, so I'll repeat it. And we always know that when you're that we're bound in this world by the boundaries of time. There's man in this world. In the Hashem's world, so to speak, there's no time, right? So it's hard. It's one of those things hard to wrap your brain around because we don't have any experience of life without time. But we have to understand that time is a bria. Time is a bria, like trees are a bria, like we're a bria, like Yom V'Layla is a bria. So Yom V'Layla is a bria. The time is a bria. Just it's hard to understand. Any case, we can understand a world without trees, but it's hard to understand a world without time, or the boundaries of time. How do you understand it? Yet, even the Rambam, I say even the Rambam, not a Makubal, like even the Rambam is adamant that we understand that Zman is a Bria. He speaks about it in a few different places. Time itself is a Bria. What is... I think, but Rabbi Berel Wein pointed out to me, I spoke a couple of weeks ago in Shul about Kiddush HaChodesh, and on that the Gemara says, Ki hi chachmaschem ubinaschem b'einei, the way that how we Jews thought about and understood, even before the ancient astronomers, the exact cycles of the moon around the earth and the earth around the sun, etc. The way we understood these things, even what we misunderstood in terms of cycles. Like you have to really watch something for 1,000 years in order to be able to understand the cycles of it. But Shmuel pointed out that probably the Hichach Maschem V'Naschem Beinu Amim these days is not even about Kiddush HaChodesh, but about Einstein's physics, because in theory, with the equation, he was able to tell us that Mercury revolves around the solar system 47 seconds a year. It was Einstein did with a calculation, and this Aga this is called Jewish science. The Nazis, Yimach Shemam V'Zifram, would not recognize. They didn't like Einstein. They wouldn't recognize what they called Jewish physics. I'm sure because he was a Jew, but that wasn't the point. The Einsteinian physics, as opposed to Newtonian physics, neither of which am I any kind of a Buckian, but I went to high school. But Einsteinian physics is all theoretical, meaning if an equation, if this is this, it's an equation. If this is this equals this, so then automatically we can assume that. So
deductive reasoning.
Right. So deductive reasoning, whereas the German physics was always, we have to do an experiment, we have to actually see it in front of our eyes. Most of those experiments on Jews, unfortunately. But it was a what you see and what could be. So that's called the world of science. That's called Jewish science, Jewish physics, that we could work with theory. But it was min hashamayim that they didn't hold of this, the Nazis, because otherwise they could have gotten the bomb. So the kihi chachmaschem upinaschem. The vidaschem is the extrapolation that we can do one thing to another, and to say if this is moving this much and that's moving that much and this is relative to that, so we can assume this is moving this much and that much. I read the biography of Einstein when he understood the movement of Mercury, planet Mercury, he started to cry. It was like such a moment of hysteria for him, you know. So it's, okay. He also went to Cheder. I doubt that's where he learned it. In any case, what I wanted to bring out, what I think I said last time, is that you see a good mashal to this is that a person could go to sleep at night. So we're talking about here, you can go to sleep at night and you could have a dream. And in the dream, half an hour could pass, 2 hours could pass, 10 years, 3 generations, everything could happen. 3 generations could go on in my dream. Wow, this one now, I saw my grandfather, I saw my grandson, this and that. And then you wake up and your wife tells you, yeah, you were sleeping for 5 minutes. So how could it be in 5 minutes 3 generations go by? Because when we're sleeping, our neshama is mispashet from the guf and it goes l'mala min hazman. And once it goes l'mala min hazman, so that there is no zman. There's no zman. So in this world, 3 minutes pass, 2 minutes or 10 seconds even. How long is a dream? You know, a dream seems like it went on all night long. It's a couple seconds, they say. So a couple of seconds, you can see a world without zman. So I think, I've never seen that in the Sefer, but I think that's as close as we can get to a world without zman. And the reason is because as long as we're alive, that's as close as we can get to Misa. And the Misa is a world without zman. There's no zman in Shemayim. But as long as we're in this world, so therefore a world without zman, which is the world of sleeping night, is a world of Malchus. It's a world of Malchus because we're totally in passive mode. We're in Makabel mode. It's a leislei migarmei klum mode. That's what's happening when we're sleeping. It's Malchus. My neshama is taken from me, and it stands in front of HaKadosh Baruch Hu L'din. If I'm a tzaddik, by the way, that doesn't happen to Rishayim. It only happens to tzaddikim. So by neshama, we get up in the morning. Moidani lefanecha, shechzarta b'nishmasi, and you see uvta. Rishayim don't say that. Shechzarta b'nishmasi b'chemla rabba emunosecha. So that's what we were learning until now. Now, the next step of our program in the evening is come b'chatzos halayla. We should get up in the middle at chatzos halayla, midnight. Yitol yadav me'aklipa sheleta zalein. You wash nagel vaser, and you were dead, right? So if you're echan mishishim mimisa, so now you have to wash nagel vaser. Why do we? What's the klipas halayla? That when you have, let me just explain that when you're alive, so you have your neshama is with you, and your neshama
it's a force field,
protects you from chitzonim. And when you're sleeping, you're not protected. Your neshama is not with you as much as it was. You're not as protected. So the chitzonim can attack, whatever that means.
penetrate.
And therefore, there's a certain tumah there. It's like a tumas misa that we have when a person wakes up in the morning. You have to wash nagel vaser from that klipa. Yavir ra mibsarai. You were, in other words, to put it simply, while you're sleeping, to some extent, you were a goof without a neshama. Right? And we wake up and we say, Elokai, neshama shenasata b'ta'ari ata barasata yitzarta z'nubriya. But without the neshama, so we're a nefesh without a neshama, and there's no protection from the chitzonim, and therefore there's a din misa. V'yivarech v'yisakin ashchina ba'esa katera. So we get up at midnight, and we wash nagel vaser, and we make a bracha. The bracha that you make, what bracha do you make? Yivarech what? You get up at midnight, you wash nagel vaser, but yivarech. What bracha do you make? Okay. So if you look up the Zohar inside, which I did, it's a Zohar Parshas Braces. Yivarech Adam says when you get up at Chatzos, Yivarech Adam birchaisav. You should make your brachos. V'heim chai brachos. Birchas hashachar. Except for the Zohar says the only bracha you can't make is birchas hatarnagol. But you're getting dressed and you're seeing and all the things that it says there in birchas hashachar are true, except for the tarnagol. The tarnagol is for the simpletons that get up at 5.
Sleepyheads.
Right. the sleepyheads, right? But for us, so come b'chatzos. Agav is an interesting thing how just generally fascinates me how we don't keep the Torah. I was fascinated by that. Like on the one hand, there's a makbid on pas akab, b'chalav akab, and things like that. But it's this is a Gemara. It's not just a Rabak. It's a Gemara that says you're supposed to get up at Chatzos Halayla. David HaMelech got up at Chatzos Halayla. The Shulchan Aruch brings it. I think it's a Gimel, a Medal, right? The Shulchan Aruch brings it. David HaMelech, Shulchan Aruch says David HaMelech hayakam b'Chatzos Halayla. So I mean, I can explain why we lost that one, but it's just so interesting to me how we're so machmer in certain things. I'm not necessarily, I don't do it, I'm just saying so machmer in certain things and other things which seem to be totally inconvenient. So we don't do it. By the way, it's not so crazy because if, let's say now, I'm just saying, let's say Shkia is at what? Tomorrow night, it'll be 6, 5?
5:57 was today.
So it's gonna be 4:57, right?
Yeah.
So 4:57. So to go to sleep at night because there's no lights, which is what they used to do. You'd have bar, go to sleep. So you'd have bar. So maybe they went to sleep 20 minutes after Shkia or whatever they waited. Rabbi Yaacov went to sleep late. He was a night owl. He went to sleep at 7. And then you get up at Chatzos, so you get your 5-6 hours. That's the schedule of a Jew. That's what Shulchan Aruch says. That was the schedule of a Jew. The Beis Yosef himself did that. He writes the Beis Yosef himself did that. That's what he did. The Holtz Fast did that. So it's not that's a Jewish schedule. It just doesn't work with our work schedules and everything else. But and then you daven nets and you go, do whatever you do. You got to take a nap. You take a nap. But you got your 5-6 hours in, so it's not so crazy. But it doesn't work, so we don't do it. So but there's this Indian of getting up at Chatzos. And on this the pasuk says, "B'shach b'cha tishmar alecha." Oh, minachitzayin. Exactly what I was saying. When you're sleeping, Hashem watches you from the chitzayin. You're in a danger field. You're like, could imagine, like loyalenu, like if somebody's having a heart transplant or something. So the guys at the table, they're martiv him. They take his heart out, put it on the table, work on it, and put it back. So you're in a makom sakona, obviously. Like every second, there's a makom sakona. I'm sitting here without a heart. I got machines, but I don't have a heart. So Kal v'chomer, Hashem takes the neshama out and works with the neshama on the table. Neshama's on the table, so you need a big shmira from HaKadosh Baruch Hu while you're sleeping. V'hakitzoisa, he tesichecha. So now you wake up, he tesichecha, and you learn Torah. V'yiskasher imai, I just want to read the words and I want to go into this a little bit and explain. V'yiskasher imai v'hu ima, you're miskasher imai, v'tiskasher, and the Torah you learn is tiskasher imai, you're makasher with it, v'hu ima, and you with the Torah, meaning you become one with the limud Torah that's going on at 12:30 at night. V'yiz'ala diyukan nishmasai began Eden im hashchina, and now your neshama goes up to Gan Eden. Not talking about while you're sleeping, talking about while you're awake. Your neshama goes up to Gan Eden im hashchina nichnesa sham im hatzadikim, and now I'm like holding at 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm learning Torah. If I'm learning Torah. So now I'm not watching the news on the internet. I'm learning Torah. So if I'm learning Torah, so now I'm part of the same thing as like the tzadikim that are in Gan Eden. And the hatiferes yavai sham gam hu lishtashayim tzadikim v'imay b'chavrasa. So there, unbeknownst to us, we're in the same place as the tzadikim that are in Gan Eden, but shekulam makshivan l'koyle. He's learning the pasuk. But they're all listening to me. In other words, I'm the balabas over here at this time. Hare mamish nasa imam mehamisa v'hashena. So think about it, says the Tomer Devorah, that when a person passes away from this world, so he's going from the world of Gashmias, going through the process of Misa, and which none of us have experienced, going through the process of Misa, and then going into a new world. Right, Misa's over. Yeah. Now you're going into a new world. So that's the same thing here. You go to sleep, you go through the process of a mini Misa, and then when you wake up and you learn Torah, you're Gan Eden. The next step is you're in Gan Eden. So here you are, Zachisi, just a little bit Zachisi, that, when I first came to yeshiva here at Eretz Yisrael, so I was only 14 years old in a few months when I came, and I had a sister in Mandersdorf. I have a sister, but at that time she was in Mandersdorf. She lived in Mandersdorf, so in the morning, what are you going to do? Where are you going to learn? So I went to Rav Scheinberg, and never saw him, never even heard of him. And I went to see him, and I said to him, I'd like to come learn in the yeshiva. So he says to me, how old are you? You're still wearing, this is his words, you're still wearing boy-sized clothes. So which was true. I don't know how he did that. But he said, your beard doesn't even grow yet. Like it was too young to shave. Like so I said, I'm 14. So my birthday was April. This was in December, actually. So 14 and a half. So he said, the next person age older than you is 18. That's quite a, like you're going to learn who you're going to learn with. Then he says, who's going to take care of you? You're a kid. Somebody has to take care of you. And then he thought for a minute. I remember this. I'm standing there. I don't know what I'm supposed to say. And he says, "Okay, I'll take care of you." So he said, "You're too young to go in the dormitory." So he said, "You could stay in my house." Couldn't stay in my sister's house because they were leaving for some sorts a day or two later. So stay in my house. So I stayed in his house. That's where I lived at his house. And for a while, for a few months, I lived there, and then I guess he deemed me mature enough, or he got tired of me, and I went to the Pnimiyah. But at that time, so can you imagine a kid staying in the big like Rosh Hashiva's house, and so I saw the Hanhaga that at not at Chatzos, but at 4 o'clock in the morning, he got up to learn every single morning, and he asked me if I can also get up, to help him put on his tzitzis. So sure. So I got up at 4 o'clock in the morning. It was like there were a lot of tzitzis he wore, so I helped him put on his tzitzis, and then he would learn until Netz, and then Netz he would daven Shemona Esrei, there'd be Yechidus. And then he would learn more, sometimes another hour or something, and then he would go to the yeshiva for Chazar Sashatz and finish Shachris there. So that was the Seder Devorah. So why do I tell you this story? Because I saw something that for years I've been trying to. He was a gadol. But that when you watched him at 4:30 in the morning, learning with his cup of coffee. 7, 8 svarim piled up, and the tzitzis, it was mamish like watching a melech. It's a hard thing to even explain, but there was a certain like or, literally an or that came from him. And I found out later that as I got older that the Stipler had the Seder Hayoim, and the Chazon Ish had the Seder Hayoim, and Rav Moshe Feinstein had this. So this was the normal Seder Hayom, for whatever reason, of the Gedolim, that they got up very early, and it was very quiet, and nothing, there was no, all the machines we have didn't exist. You just had a telephone, and it didn't ring at that time, and it was just like learning Torah, this kedusha that came about. So when I read this, there's a Tiferes there. And the Tiferes is that he's with the Tzadikim Shekulam Akshivan L'Koilon. And his koil, meaning his kol Torah, is heard by all the Malachim and Shemayim. Hare Mamish Nasa Ima Meha Misa V'Hashena. Here he's traveled from Misa and Shena El Soid Hachayim El Yonim. V'Nikshar B'Soid Gan Eden. And now he's tied up to Gan Eden. The only difference, so Gan Eden, it's not a place, right? Not a place. There's no you can't put Gan Eden to Waze or Google Maps or something. It's not a place. It's a phenomenon. So v'nikshar b'sayid Gan Eden v'hischelis noitzet alav ar hatiferes, and he begins to attract or lisnoitzeitz alav. How do we try? Starts to sprout from him. Or hatiferes. Hamisnoitzeitz began Eden al tzadikim. Same thing you see in Gan Eden. That's what you're going to see here. So I think I saw. Chaim perish in Parshas Truma. That's what the Zohar says in Parshas Truma. So that's what. Now the Gemara says. Let's just be ma'ayin into this a little bit. Again, I don't know why we don't get up at Chatzos. I don't know why Gedolim didn't get up at Chatzos because we have electricity. So you can't end your day at 6 o'clock. So it's pushed a little bit. But he went to sleep, by the way, at midnight. That was, regular, like a machine, went to sleep at midnight. And he looked like the Hanhagas of David HaMelech, like in his last 10, 15 years of his, I'm not saying you're asking Rabbi Haber, I'm just saying what I saw. Last 10, 15 years of his life, I think he never went into a bed. Like just on Shabbos, Friday night. I was like always just in his own chair and learning, and so it means like the default status was just Torah, but midnight fell asleep in his chair. He was very old. He was always he was old, 102, 103, but it was a hanhag of tzadikim. It's something, even if he can't be a tzaddik, at least to see it. It's something special to see. Yeah.
He sleeps 160 of Misa, so there's also the side that person goes to tzaddik goes on Haba, 160.
Yeah.
So why is it that when he wakes, even when he's sleeping, he should be like?
So the Misa is the transition point between Chaim and Olam Haba. Misa in between. So Misa itself, Misa could be kasha. Misa, like the Gemara, you see they daven for an easy passing, but you're not yet into the new world. So the new world is after you wake up, right? So it's after you wake, after the tzaddikim go through Misa, real Misa, so that they wake up into this world of Olam Haba. So let me just, the Gemara says as follows, everyone knows this Gemara. The Gemara says, and I presume that's the Makor for this, that David HaMelech went to sleep. Where's the Gemara in Brachos Gimel? The Gemara says, Amar Rav Shimon Chasida, which might be Rav Shimon Bar Yochai. Amar Rav Shimon Chasida, Kinar hayatolui lamala mimitase shel David. The kivan right there was a harp over his bed. The kevan shehigia chatzos halayla, and once chatzos came, bar ruach tzvainus, a northern wind came. V'hayamanagim, and the hayamanagim elav, and the kinar used to go off. Yad haya'omed v'osek b'Torah, and immediately he would get up and be osek in Torah. It's interesting. He didn't, even though it says chatzos layla akum l'hodos l'cha. So you would think he was saying davening, or you would think, tikkun chatzos, tikkun chatzos, but he was learning Torah. But probably, maybe that's where the Zohar has the diuk that you're mevarach birchosav. That you say brachos first, because the first thing you have to do is give hodah to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And then kivat she'ala amud hashachar, once the amud hashachar would happen, a few hours later, nichnasu chachmei Yisrael atzlei v'ayimrim lai, so the chachmei Yisrael would be lined up outside of his door, and they would say, Adonenu HaMelech Hamcha Yisrael Tzrichen Parnasa. So the way the Gemara normally is, the workday begins. Workday for a melech, he got up at Chatzos, he went to sleep at Shkia. His sleeping, the Gemara says, was Shenas Hasus. Shenas Hasus, Shisha Nishman. A horse can sleep standing up. Did you know that?
I think even walking they can sleep.
Right. But sometimes they lay down also, horses. But as I was what's my ayin into this woody task, like Rabbi Slufkin or something, sleeping patterns of horses. But David HaMelech went to sleep like a horse. So that means, like I'm saying, like maybe he didn't even get into a bed, except it says here it was Lamalam and Mitase. But he was like sleeping and out of sleep Shenas Hasus. How long is Shisa Nishman? So big machlokes. Again, Reb Tzadok says, Reb Tzadok writes that Shisa Nishman means 6 hours. That doesn't mean 20 minutes, it means 6 hours. But apparently never got into this REM sleep. Never. He was fighting sleep. David HaMelech was fighting sleep. But that was until Chatzos. Chatzos, the harp went off, and he woke up and he learned Torah every single night. And then at Amud HaShachar, so the Chachmei Yisrael said, we need Parnasa. Chachmei Yisrael came and said, Amcha Yisrael tzrichim Parnasa. So it's an interesting Seder Hayom. One wonders when the harp went off, what did it play? Definitely one of your Ura Kivodi.
Shir Shal Yam.
So it must have been a Karl Bach. Like what did it? I don't know. The mind wonders. Like what was it? Just random strumming or something? But more interestingly, there a machlokes. How this worked? This harp. It's here on the side. He brings a machlokes Rishonim. Whether the pshat is the pshat that is it the pshat that the harp was woke him up, like an alarm clock wakes you up? So this was his natural alarm clock that worked with the Ruach Tzvaynis, or is it the pshat that the alarm that it just told him that it's chatzos? Like how did he know that it was chatzos halayla? But do you have a watch? Sundial doesn't work well in the middle of the night.
Don't forget that the Ruach Tzvaynis is a malach. Could be playing.
So did the malach wake him up? It's an interesting machlokes. Did it wake him up, or did it just tell him what time it was?
There is a difference in the night, unfortunately. I mean, somebody being in the night. There's some point in the night where it changes. There's a change in the
temperature and everything.
In everything.
Ruach Tzvaynis.
Yeah.
It's a northern wind. So.
And he was up already?
So I'm saying he was up, not up. Like me waiting for the alarm clock to go off.
Yeah.
What happens when you get older.
Give me another 5 minutes.
Yeah. Me, I could wait for like 45 minutes for the alarm clock to go off, and then it goes off and I put on snooze. What? Why is this up? All right. But so I was trying to be mitbonein into the Seder Hayom of David HaMelech, and I'm trying to figure out what is exactly the milah of getting up at Chatzos Halayla. Like why is that better than getting up at 7 a.m. and catching a minyan? Why is it a milah? What is the milah? So I'll get back to David HaMelech in a second, put it in my super deluxe Tomer Devorah. So he brings, this is by the way a fantastic thing that this person did, a guy in England. He collected from the Ramak, who wrote many svarim, from the Ramak in all different places wherever he talks about this sugya. Because here in Tomer Devorah, it's really, Tomer Devorah is just a section of a big sefer of the Ramak. But this is just really like a kitzer. It's hard to understand until you get into all the other things that he says. So he says here, Chasav Rabbeinu b'sifrei or yakar. I was very moved by this. There's sefer from the Ramak or yakar on the parsha. This is on Parshas Vayishlach, and the title of the essay that the Ramak writes, and this is something that we should know. This is a big Indian. Is called Hisayrus HaTachtonim. Like learn the term. Hisayrus HaTachtonim. Hisayrus HaTachtonim chashav yoser v'yoser mikol hisayrus hatzadikim shebegan Eden. Is the Ramak. Hisayrus HaTachtonim. The awakening of, I guess we are the Tachtonim. So Hisayrus HaTachtonim is more chashav mikol hisayrus hatzadikim shebegan. I guess I go to sleep in Gan Eden also. But they wake up. It's not as chashav as when we wake up. Mipnei shemasha tzadikim ma'orim sham. This the tzadikim in Gan Eden wake up. Eino yisayrus hamisayr machmas hayetzer hara. Shem kamalachim. there's no battle. You see, like one of the most difficult battles of the human being is getting up. And isn't it true? Like because the nefesh, nafshi ka'afar, kol tiyah, the bechina of afar, the metzias of afar is that you throw it up and it falls down again until there's ruach. So the ruach has to come and animate the offer. So until that happens, like the neshama, just starts to enter. We have some nefesh, ruach, neshama. Like that's the getting up process, and that's a natural. It's a natural thing. But when we're sleeping, we're nefesh. Nefesh is offer, nafshi ka offer, l'koltiya, and its natural tendency is just to fall back down to the ground. Snooze. So that's what's natural. So that's called, interestingly, Yetzer Hara. It's called, they're not getting up in the morning. So tzaddik in Gan Eden doesn't have that issue. Just gets up. Time to get up. You get up. Doesn't have a nefesh. So if you don't have a nefesh, you don't have a bechina of afar. So there's no nafshi for the kol tiyah. So it comes time to get up. Just get up. It's
What are they getting up from? Why do they need to sleep?
What are they sleeping for?
There's no time.
Or what do they need to re-energize for? So mashma, their neshamas also have a din. Like you see that Mesim also have dinim. That's what a yahrzeit is, and they say kaddish. Because neshamas also have dinim. So I guess lishenei afar, and maybe they're hoping one day they're going to wake up and it's going to be Tchiyas HaMesim. Hey. We're in a different world. Something's different. I don't know. How do we know? Nobody knows. But even this little gilui here is the Ramak is telling us things that who would know this. But he says that again. Let me get to the point here. The tzadikim that wake up, eino yisayris hamisayir machmas hayetzer hara. It's not like somebody who, I presume he means, is fighting the Yetzer Hara to get up. Shehem kemalachim. Once you're in Shamayim, you're like a melech. Same type of thing as a melech. A little different, but the same thing. Amnam, Hisayris hatachtoin. Remember the term? Hisayris hatachtoin. Hisayris hatachtoin. Hisayris hamatsuyim v'oisim, hamatsuvim rather, v'oisim v'yesh b'hem Yetzer Hara. So this to me was a wonderful gilui, because the Gemara says, and we repeat often, Gadol hamitzuva va'isa, Meshena mitzuva va'isa. So Gadol hamitzuva va'isa, greater is he that is commanded and does a mitzvah than a volunteer, which is a pella. Like if you're getting paid to do your job, that's your job. Like you don't get any great covet for doing your job. If you're a volunteer, then you give a person, I'm not doing it for money, I'm not doing it for. But Rashi says, Alav in Shabbos, so Rashi says that the pshat is because, if you want to really get something done, so don't get volunteers, pay somebody. I mean, we know this. We in this business know that volunteers are, you get what you pay for sometimes. I mean, there are volunteers that are gewaldig, but whatever gewaldig it is, it's not the same as a person. Good person going to work at 9 and working till 5 and getting the job done. This is a job, right? So that's what Rashi says. Gadol hamitzuva va'isa, meshena mitzuva va'isa. That's better. A mitzuva va'isa is better than a volunteer. The Zohar is a different connection in Rashi, and he brings this from the Zohar that hamitzuva va'isa yesh b'hem Yetzer Hara. Now what's happening is if you what is the pshat in mitzuvim v'oisim? It's not natural for me to do this mitzvah right now. It's not something. It's not something like just natural for me. So it means that there's resistance. So the resistance is, let's call that resistance Yetzer Hara. And the Yetzer Hara is telling me, don't do it. Don't get up in the morning. There's a whole day here. Let's face the challenges. Besides, it's hard to get up. Face the challenges of the day and do all the things that are going to go on. This thing like this, as soon as it starts going through your mind, you put the covers over your head. So and then you get up. So that's called hamitzuva va'isa. You hear that? It's a mitzuva va'isa because the fact that you need some kind of a tzivoy, it's not natural to me. I'm not a volunteer, it's not just natural to me, I just get up. But I'm going keneged my nature to get up. Keneged your nature means keneged your yetzer hara. That's much more valuable. Why? Because when you go keneged your yetzer, that's called hisayrus hatachtonim.
K'moari.
Hisayrus hatachtonim. Let's get to there in a minute. So, do you hear this? This is it's an amazing chiddush that the pshat and gadol hamitzuva v'oisa m'she'enu mitzuva v'oisa, that the reason why the mitzuva v'oisa, if it's your job, it's more important than a volunteer, is that a volunteer is like, actually, I'd like to volunteer for this organization. I'd like to help. But a mitzuva v'oisa is, that's my job. What does that mean? That I'm doing it even though I don't want to do it. So when you do something even though you don't want to do it, so that's called hisayrus hatachtonim. Getting up at chatzos halayla is hisayrus hatachtonim. When you wake up, and that's what David HaMelech says, if you go further in the Gemara, that I'm not like the kings of the world that wake up at 10 o'clock, at 11 o'clock.
Having breakfast.
Yeah, I mean, in other words, they get up. They get up when they wake up. They're not getting up. They're waking up. He says, not me. I'm not waking up. I'm getting up. There's an avodah here in the getting up.
So he's learning Torah as part of the Hadadah. That's what our purpose is, to learn the Torah. That's when he gets up to do that.
That's right. That's part of the Hadadah. So I guess we shouldn't think to ourselves that David HaMelech was just a natural insomniac, getting up at midnight. But the pshat is this was his avodah, and the avodah was called. The name of this avodah was hisayrus hatachtonim. Very important.
Maybe it's because it's the second half of the Malchus.
Because it's the second half of the Malchus. Very good. You're good. V'hi, says the Ramak, avodah chashuva. It's a tremendous hisayrus hatachtonim. New thing. Talk about hisayrus hatachtonim. Avodah chashuva shehi misayreres. It doesn't have to be at midnight. Sometimes, hisayrus hatachtonim take place right here in the middle of the shir. Hisayrus hatachtonim. Right. I used to think sometimes that when I was speaking that I was being over Gezel Shena. That I once said that in my Shalom Monsey. I said sometimes I feel like when I'm speaking I'm being over Gezel Shena. So somebody from the congregation said, no, it's not a problem. On the contrary. Yeah. So anyways, he says, he avodah chashuva, he misayreres mi olam. These words are powerful. She misayreres mi olam sheyesh bo yetzer hara. What's going on in this world is the world sheyesh bo yetzer hara. So that puts us in a place which is higher than the malachim. Umachniya hachitzonim. And nevertheless, I'm being miskaber, koivesh, as you try, miskaber on the chitzonim. I'm miskaber on them. I go against my nature. What happens when you do that? I'm being Moshech Shefa. What I'm doing is I'm changing the whole world now. And that's why in Shemayim, everybody, all the malachim and all the everything, all the base, everybody, they have to listen to me now, because now I did a hisayrus hatachtonim act, and now I'm able to have tremendous power in the Shemayim. He doesn't say this, but I want to say that that's why immediately we learn normally that Alois HaShachar, all the Chachmei Yisrael came to David HaMelech and they said, Klal Yisrael tzrichim parnasa. Workday begins, right? 4:45, workday begins. No, could be the pshat is that they came to him because David HaMelech at this moment by Amud HaShachar, why let Amud HaShachar, let him have a cup of coffee, let him tap, and whatever he's going to do. But no, at Amud HaShachar they realized, the Chachmei Yisrael realized that David HaMelech right now is in a position of being able to switch over the whole Shemayim. In Oretz, he's able to change the whole world. So since he's able to change the whole world, they came and said, "Okay, give us a bracha for Parnasa, give us an eitzah for Parnasa." He was at a certain madrega there, which they couldn't find him any other time. Why? Because he just fulfilled the avodah of Hisoris HaTachtonim.
What did he say to them? He said something like, go to war? Or something?
Go to war.
Go to war.
Yeah. I just want to, before we end, if you just give me another 2 minutes, the Ramchal, remember this, in Das Tfunos. So the Ramchal talks about To'elas Hara. That's the chapter head. To'elas Hara. What's good about bad? And he gives three things that are. This is in page Siman Kuf Chav Dalet of the Das Tfunos. So he says that one of the third thing that he says that's good about bad is Od Shehu Goyrem Revach LaAdam Atzmai Hamisnasevai. It gives bad gives a person a chance to be good. If there wouldn't be any bad, then we would have no chance to be good. Oshu Garim Revach LaAdam Atzmai Hamisnasevai. And then he says, the Ramchal says, Kemoshel Hazoina im Ben Hamelach, like the mashal of the Zaina with the Ben Hamelach Shedarshu Chazal, and in the parentheses, Rav Chaim Friedland, the one who put this out, says Brachas Lamed Beis Amud Aleph. What's the mashal of the Zaina and Brachas Lamed Beis Amud Aleph? Just tell you a little over there. The only Gemara that speaks about a mashal of a Zaina in Brachas Lamed Beis Amud Aleph is the Gemara there is talking about the Egel, and Moshe Rabbeinu claimed to HaKadosh Baruch Hu that why are you blaming Klal Yisrael for making an egel? You gave them all this gold and stuff in Mitzrayim, and when you give somebody gold, they're in a danger place, right? They're in danger zone when you give them gold. So Moshe Rabbeinu said it's your fault, not Klal Yisrael's fault. And he quoted many psukim. He quoted himself many times. Vayishman Yeshurun Vayivat. Many psukim. The Gemara says that when you have gold, you're in danger. Then the Gemara says, Mashal Lamelech, famous Gemara, Mashal Lamelech, that had a son, and he feeds the son everything the kid wants to eat, and the kid is balei kresai, and he's completely spoiled, and then you dress him up real fancy, and you put perfume on him, and you put him in front of the Beis Haznus. So ma yaseh haben shelo yechta. Like, what do you want from the ben shelo yechta? So Moshe Rabbeinu said that this is the matzav of Klal Yisrael. Ma yaseh haben shelo yechta. I'm looking at this and I'm saying, what did the Ramchal bring? What does he want from? What does he want from this this Gemara? What does it have to do with the godless of Ra? Moshe Rabbeinu was excusing the Ra by saying, look, you gave them all this money, so why are you doing it? Then I saw that this edition of the Ramchal, which was put out by Rav Chaim Friedland, I bought Lamed Gimel when I think it was Lamed Gimel when Rav Chaim Friedland, which came to the yeshiva and he was selling his books, so I bought that. But I looked at a later edition, which is the same thing, exactly the same thing. It's still page Kuf Dalet, and there in parentheses, instead of saying Brachas Lamed Beis, it says Ayin Zoyar Truma. Kuf Samad Gimel Lamed Aleph. Somebody changed this parentheses to the Zoyar. The Zoyar is a different story. So I looked up the Zoyar. And it says here, some Parshas Truma Kuf Samach Gimel Lamed Aleph. Here, the mashal is to a. This is the beginning over here. That a king, without going through the whole Zohar, there was a melech, which there was no melech in the Gemara. A melech says to his son that if you want to be the prince, you want to take over this Malchus, you have to be a strong person, and I want you to stay away from bad women. That's just stay away from bad women. And the son said, okay. And then the melech wanted to test the son to see whether he's really disciplined and he's really listening to him. And there was a certain Zoina that was here. Hine beveis hamelech mi bachutz. I'm reading the first Hebrew. Haya Zoina achas yefas marav yefas Torah. That outside of the palace was hanging around this Zoina, beautiful Zoina. Liyamim, and when days later, Amar HaMelech Ani Reitza Liros Ritzoin B'ni Eli. I want to see the faithfulness of my son. So what did he do? Kara HaMelech L'Zayna. The Melech called the Zayna. V'Amar Lo L'chiva Tifati Es B'ni. Try to seduce my son. I want to see what's going to happen. It's different than the Gemara, right? Different. Kedei Liros Es Ritzoinai Shel B'ni Eli. Because I want to see the faithfulness of my son. Ma Asasa HaZayna Ahi. What did the Zayna do? Holcha Achrei B'nai Shel Melech. The son went out, and she followed the son. And she grabbed him, and she hugged him, and she tried to seduce him in every different way. To see if the son would be able. So this is similar to the Gemara in Brachos. What was the king doing? But it's a little bit of a different story here. Says the Zohar, if he's who goyer ba, what happens is that he screamed at her, and he pushed her away. So the father, the king, was happy with his son. And he let him into the inner chambers of the palace. So this is the punchline. Says the Zohar, Man Gorim Kol Hayikar Lahaibra. What brought all this covet to the son? Right? Havi Ema Hi Zaina. The Zaina gets the prize. The Zona was the one that brought godless to the Ben HaMelech. Mm-hmm. So we give her a testimonial dinner. Here's your Zona plaque. And, because it was the Zona that brought him. So this, it says the Ramak, and he even explains it over here at the bottom, Rabbi first, that this is the Hisayrus HaTachtonim. So the what?
To'elas hara.
Yeah, the To'elas hara. This makes sense. What the Ramchal is bringing, the To'elas hara, and the To'elas hara is because it's if the son would have never had this fight with it's a mashal. That's all. If the son would have never had this fight with the Eitzah hara, and the Nimshal is this world is called the Zaina. So all the things that pull us in this world, if he would have never had this fight, he would have never been promoted to princehood. So his medal was earned by having this fight with the Ra. And the Ra, so this is the big losh, Haviema, he's Zaina. She was Gerim to the whole thing. So the shot is that getting up at Chatzos Halayla that's the Hisayrus HaTachtonim. That's where you're fighting to get up, and not the natural time to get up, and that's where the Kedusha comes in, and that's where we control the whole Shemayim Ba'aretz, and that's why the Gedolim Chachmei Yisrael came to him right after that. They saw this is a tzaddik that can give a bracha on the highest level.
Isn't that true with any test of temptation that we have?
Exactly true. Doesn't have to be getting up.
Doesn't have to be getting up.
Correct.
What time did they come to him?
Alois HaShachar,
And why did he resist
which is
sleep?
Midas Netzach and Hoyd, I think.
Why did he resist?
So the reason he resisted sleep was because he was a tikkun for Adam Arishan. Adam Arishan gave him 70 years, right? So Adam Arishan was Goyzer Misa to the world, and David Malchus Israel Chai V'Kayim. He didn't want to be telling Tam Misa.
Wow.
It's strange because he's Malchus, right?
Right.
And sleep is Malchus,
Sleep
but
is
he
Malchus.
resisted the Malchus of sleep.
But yes. But David Malchus Israel Chai V'Kayim, in two ways he resisted Misa. One is that the progeny of David HaMelech was Mashiach, Tchias HaMesim, and lives on forever. Chai V'Kayim, and then in his own life he resisted sleep because he was using borrowed time from he was trying to be Mabatel, the Kilkul of Adam Harishan, who brought Misa into the world. Those are different.
Why would they have to come to him every day for bracha then?
Why not? How often do you have to go for a bracha?
I don't know, if his Kehillat Shivtei was so strong, so then...
Right. I know, because every day is a new din. I always wonder, like, if you get a bracha from a tzaddik, you have to go again 6 months later, 12 months later. Like, how often do you need a renewal slip on that?
How was the Malchus death again? The death,
What?
The relationship between the death and Malchus. Okay.
Death is a passive place.
Right.
Lesley Megar Mekwum, that's
Okay.
what Malchus is.